Hello. Welcome, one and all. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How are you all this evening? A little early. We're a little early today. You know. Chasticle, nice to see you. Welcome. It's him. Yeah, it's me. Me. Hooray. I suppose. Gen X says, arrest Destiny for free speech. Sounds amazing. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Confluence, nice to see you. Welcome to the show. Oh, boy. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. Gonna be a show. Gonna be fun. Coffee, nice to see you. I'm killing time till people kind of figure out I'm live. Simius Games. Why is my country on fire? Because bad actors are trying to fan the flames for personal gain. That's why. They are trying to gather up political power for themselves, and they do not care what destruction is wrought in its wake. Money is a big incentive for this, and people are making a lot of money by trying to convince you that everyone on the other side wants you dead. We're going to talk about that today, too. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about that today, too. I find myself in a weird position. William of Orange, nice to see you. Where I think that people on that are ostensibly on my team have largely kind of decided that they need to play the game of the enemy, quote unquote. By that I mean the right wing, right? They need to act like the people that they are against. They have abandoned their I don't want to say morals, because that's not exactly the correct term I'm looking for. They have abandoned what's been working for the last decade, and they have decided that, well, Trump won one election in one cycle, and therefore, even though he lost over and over and over again in all the other cycles except for 2016, right? Like, he won 2016, he won 2024. All the other cycles in between there, he lost decisively. They've decided that, oh, see, now we got to go with this. Right now, we got to abandon the things that's been working because it didn't work once, because we had confounding variables that came in and changed the dynamic. But we're going to talk about that. Caleb says, Elon somehow believes Destiny's rhetoric crosses the threshold of incitement, but won't suspend his account from the platform. He's grifting to SlopTube. Yes, Elon Musk is driving engagement, fanning the flames. I can't even say for money, though, with Elon. He's just doing it for attention. He's doing it for attention. I think, like, I don't know if he's going to get any more money than he already has for this. But he definitely wants influence and he wants attention. And that absolutely is kind of his incentive structures, right? Frundo says, my brother in Christ, these people have no values besides hating the people they don't like. I mean, there's a lot of that, too. And we're going to get to that. But, now that it's 6 o'clock, I guess we can start officially. Okay, so welcome, one and all, to yet another Wick TV stream, where we talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious, and where we kind of, just have a good time and try to understand one another, at least tonight. It's a call-in show, gang. So if you want to call in here, let me give you guys the link to the channel. Bloop, 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 bloop. You're gonna click that link. I'll pin it to the YouTube. Okay. Pin message. I'll put it in the Twitch too. Okay, you're gonna click that link. You're gonna accept the rules. And once you do that, you're going to jump backstage. I'll pull you on when I'm ready, and we'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. But before we do that, let's cover a little bit of what's happening today. So, funny, it's weird to me as just a guy, okay? I don't feel like I'm anything more than just some dude who wants to stream sometimes. But you have the richest man in the world viewing my content. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. Let's go, okay? Oh, the second richest man in the world? I think Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Who's richer than Elon Musk? Whatever. One of the top 10 richest people in the world, okay? Here. So, this isn't the richest guy in the world. This is Phil Labonte. Phil Labonte is a friend of Tim Pool, okay? He's been in my tweets recently. I'm not sure why, but I don't know. He's found me, I guess. And he's replied to me, he's quote tweeted me a few things. Anyway, he decided in order to attack Destiny, he was going to bring up and he linked people to my my debate with Destiny after the Trump assassination. You guys remember that? We had the first Trump assassination attempt, and Destiny was making jokes and comments I felt were inappropriate. I called him in. He jumped on stream. We butted heads, battled. Anyway, today, Phil here tweets out, if you just saw Destiny endorse political violence today, be advised that this is not a one-time thing and it's not new. And then he quote tweets his own tweet, right, that he made a year ago, or not a year ago, well, almost a year ago now, where they watched my content, right, where I was fighting with Destiny on this. Okay? So, got a lot of views, gathered some attention, but nothing new. 14,000 views or 14,000 likes ain't crazy. Okay? I've had more likes than that on several tweets. It's a lot, but it's not new. However, Elon Musk saw this, watched it, and commented. And this is what he says. He says, let him say what he wants, but then also pay the price under the law. Michael Knowles today put out a video where he says that the law should get involved, the government should get involved to put legal consequences on people like Destiny and Hassan. There were several congressmen that I've seen tweet similar things, that this is an incitement to violence, that what Destiny said on the Piers Morgan show was calling to kill Republicans and inciting violence against Republicans. Look, if you guys have seen my content, you know I disagree strongly with how Destiny is handling this. I think that his refusal to turn down the temperature until the other side turns down the temperature, his refusal to just do the bare minimum on these things is hurting the democratic movement. I think it's hurting us. It's driving reasonable people away from us. It's making it harder for less engaged people to tell the difference between the right and the left wing, even though I agree that there's a huge difference between the right and left wing, because the danger here isn't that they'll go MAGA. The danger here is that they will see no difference between Trump and Destiny and Trump and the left and say, well, they both got bad actors on their sides, a pox on both their houses. I'm sitting this one out. Okay, that's the danger. And he, even though he's not like as big as a president, obviously, he is someone who is a large figure, a large alternative media figure on the left. And instead of having the conversation we should be having, which is, hey, why isn't the president turning the temperature down? Why is the president continually using this as an excuse to attack the left? We can't do that because the right can counter, well, look at Destiny and look at people like Destiny, right? Look at the left celebrating this. Look at these people refusing to turn down the temperature. And him going on Piers Morgan and my show and all these other shows doing that does nothing to help us. We gain no one who didn't support us before is suddenly supporting us now, right? Because of that. We've won no hearts and no minds because of that. And now this is dominating the news cycle when what should be dominating the news cycle is Trump and other things. Now, the common pushback I get to this is that, well, they just find someone else. Perhaps they would. Perhaps they would, but it would not be as effective because, yes, them bringing up Twitter nobodies or Instagram randos or TikTok no-view Andes has a much less of an effect and is much less persuasive than them bringing on someone like Destiny. That's just true. That's just true. Now, what Elon is doing, however, is he's trying to make this, and many other on the right are trying to turn what Destiny said, which was bad, which I condemn, into something it's not. They are lying about what he's saying. They are misrepresenting what he is saying. They are making it out to be worse than it is in order to gin up possible charges against Destiny, possible legal repercussions, possible an arrest maybe, right? They are saying, and many are saying, here, let me actually see if I can find one of these. There should be like a billion. Okay. Hold on. There should be like a billion. Let me see if I can find one. You know, you think I'd be more prepared than this? But, it is what it is. Okay. Well, this isn't perfect, but it's the first thing that popped up. And it also plays into something else that's been happening today, okay? Here, let me adjust these things so you can see it better. Bloop. Bloop. Okay, better? Good. Laura Loomer. Okay, so Destiny put out... okay, look. Destiny trolled these people and put out his Twitch ban and pretended like it just happened. And they're all these people who do no research and don't look past headlines whatsoever have decided to fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. You had Russian Times falling for it. Laura Loomer here fell for it. All these other crackpot, cat turd, like here's cat turd falling for it. All these things. But yeah. And well, here's a good one too. Like Destiny blames Elon Musk and other conservatives after being banned on Twitch for his violent rhetoric against those with differing political views. Let's be clear. His rhetoric, while irresponsible, was not violent. Here's another thing. For the second time, Elon Musk called out streamer Destiny over his vile rhetoric, but this time Musk said the streamer should be thrown in prison for inciting murder after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The remark came after Destiny claimed that you need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events. Destiny is the same person who mocked Corey Compentor, a firefighter who died shielding his family during the failed assassination attempt on the President Trump in Butler, PA. He is not inciting murder. Let's be clear. What he is doing, mocking the dead, right? What he's doing by refusing to disavow, refusing to turn down the temperature, all of this is protected speech under the First Amendment. Every single bit of it is protected speech. And one of the problems I'm having with the right-wing response to all of this, and I've talked about the left-wing response, and I've criticized that. From the people celebrating, I disavow those people entirely. The people calling for more, they're scum, right? Disavow them entirely. But a lot of people on the right are using this as an opportunity to erode at our civil liberties. That's what Trump's administration is doing right now. And we're going to look at some clips later about that, okay? They are trying to get rid of free association. They are trying to bring in hate speech laws, okay? It's a mess. It's a mess. They're calling for people to rise up against the leftists and purge them, right? They're calling for leftist organizations to be defunded, NGOs to be entirely gutted. All these things they're doing because they are trying to imply that all the left is violent and all the left is okay with violence and all the left wants to kill you. Elon Musk has said that the left wants to murder you. This also is hurting the discourse. It's turning up the temperature, and they're doing it for profit and attention. Caleb for $5 says, Elon somehow believes Destiny's rhetoric crosses the threshold of incitement, but wants to... Oh, we already read that. Super treat, sorry. Yeah. We should be able to just talk about that, right? But we can't, because Destiny's dominating the news cycle. KTC says, stop making up shit. Who on the left is calling for more? You don't think I could find TikTok or Reddit or leftist account calling for more political violence? You don't think I could do that? You want to bet some money? What do you think? $10 per thing I find? You gonna give me that? And Jim Balta says the right would be doing that with or without any pushback from the left. True, but without pushback from the left. Okay. Or without. So yes, let me phrase it this way: the right will always engage, or I should say, elements on the right will always engage in dishonest framing and dishonest practices like that. They will always try to turn up the temperature. They will always try to use every incident as a way to erode your rights. They will always do these things. And elements on the right, not all the right, but elements on the right. We can either make that harder for them to do, or we can make that easier for them to do. And I'm telling you, the way that Destiny is handling this is making it easier for them to do. And again, the evidence I would give you is the election cycles from 2018, 2020, and 2022. That is the data that we would use to make these decisions. Okay, Alexander Wynn for $10 says, which larger streamer or account mentioned the gross failure of our president, call to tone down the rhetoric, or the right's failure to even notice before Destiny did? I think Hakeem Jeffries just today in a news conference called on Trump's gross failure to turn down the rhetoric. Ilhan Omar, I believe, mentioned that as well. So these are politicians. As for streamers, I'm not sure. I don't follow a lot of streamers, okay? Go be real with you. I have called out Trump, but I'm not a very big streamer. But I have called out Trump for his failure to turn down the rhetoric. Do I count? I'm not sure. Bill Bradley says, YouGov poll says shows 24% of very liberal people think political violence is okay. Only 3% of very conservative people. These two things are not the same. So the poll was taken right after this event. If this poll had been taken earlier, I guarantee you the conservative number would be higher. Simply because of how these things go. Okay. Also, and I hate to tell you guys this, but the left, the very liberal people who are okay with political violence, look, the answer to that is, because I believe the question was, is there ever any situation in which political violence is acceptable? I believe that was the question to the poll. You know what the answer to that question is? It's yes. Yes, there are situations where political violence is acceptable. That's the answer to that question. Right, left, center, you should all answer yes, there are times where political violence is acceptable. Now is not that time. We are nowhere near that time. We are nowhere near in a situation like 1940s Germany, right? We are nowhere near in a situation like that. Nowhere close. But the answer to the question is yes. Link me the poll. DM it to me, Confluence. Sorry, let me answer a couple DMs here. Someone wants to come on at 9 Eastern. I don't know if I'm going to be still streaming at 9 Eastern. Yeah. Let me see. Polls on acceptability of political violence. Let me see if we can find the one. Here's one from 4 days ago. Okay. Here, we'll just go through it together. This is from YouGov. So, what Americans really think. Here, let me adjust the thing here. Make it easier to see. Okay, cool. Can you guys see that better? We'll go through it. What Americans really think about political violence. Talks about the shooting death. Okay. Some Americans are more worried about political violence than others. Just 6% of Americans say political violence is not much of a problem. 5% or not a problem, 1%. 87% say it is a problem, with the majority of adults saying political violence is a very big problem, 28% calling it somewhat of a problem. So right here, a majority of the country, regardless of whether you're left, right, or center, acknowledges that, yeah, political violence is a problem. Okay? So the red portion says it's very big. The, I guess, salmon-colored portion says somewhat not. Gray say it's not sure. Dark purple or light purple and then dark purple. Okay, so looking at this, most people acknowledge left, right, and center. The numbers seem very similar to me here. Independents are mostly not sure, and young people are mostly not sure. But for the most part, it seems Democrats and Republicans, at least, have comparable thoughts on this, right? I think Republicans have a little more that they say it's a very big problem, but Democrats, what is this, 58-32, that's about 80% say, I'm sorry, 90%. 90% say it's a problem, either somewhat or a very big problem, okay? But YouGov has asked this question multiple times since 2022 and found some noticeable changes in opinion. For one thing, while Republicans are more likely than Democrats to say political violence is a very big problem in September 2025 in the wakes of Kirk's shooting, the reverse has been true when YouGov has asked this question after attacks on Democratic political figures. Because of course it would be, right? When your side is the one that's getting attacked, you think it's a much bigger problem. You'll say it's less of a problem when it's the other side being attacked. But in both cases, both parties think it's a problem still. I want to be clear on this, okay? How concerned Americans are about political violence is related to some degree to whether someone from their side or from the other side is the most recent to be attacked. True. So you can see, and they have, after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, 67% of Republicans say it's a huge problem. 58% of Democrats say it's a huge problem. When asked after the assassination of Melissa Hortman just a few months ago, 44% of Republicans say it's a big problem. 56% of Democrats say it's a big problem. So not much change there. After the assassination attempt on Josh Shapiro, 44% say it's a big problem on the Democrats. 37% say it's a big problem on the Republicans. After the assassination attempts on Donald Trump, again, you see the reverse. 46% of Democrats think it's a problem, while 51% of Republicans think it's a big problem, right? So this kind of tracks. And then after the attack on Paul Pelosi, 53% of Democrats, 31% of Republicans. And again, this is from 2022. They've asked it several times. Here are the numbers after the event. So who in the poll here was calling me Mr. Bad Faith and asking me to prove it? Which one of you motherfuckers in chat was doing that? Have I done so? To your satisfaction? I don't know. A lot of people call me bad faith and say I can't back shit up. I don't know. Whatever. I just get mad. Mad when people... Look, I'm going to talk about that too. We're going to rant about that a little bit. All you little fuckers, okay? Left, right, and center. DGGers, anti-DGGers. I get it from all sides. You all hate me when I disagree with you, and you love me when I agree with you. And I hate that dynamic. I do. I hate that dynamic. I hate the fact that you guys will suck my dick when I agree with you and are seen to be on your team. And as soon as I disagree with your streamer daddy or agree with the guy you hate, suddenly I'm the worst person ever. And I hate that dynamic. You need to stop doing that shit, okay? It gets on my nerves. It does. It gets on my nerves. Just a reminder, I will go off of my principles to decide whether something is correct or incorrect, whether I believe you are right or I believe you are wrong. And I will say what I believe regardless of whatever team you think I'm on or I'm rooting for. I hate it. But let's keep going through this poll, okay? Since YouGov started asking this question in 22, older Americans have consistently expressed more concern about political violence than younger Americans have. Now, this is interesting because this is also just tautologically true. The older you get, and I say this as a 42-year-old man, okay? So I'm not ancient, but by Twitch and by YouTube standards, I'm like, I might as well be 80 years old, okay? When you're young, you're full of spunk and vinegar, right? Spit and vinegar. You're ready to take on the world. You feel invincible. And the more you see of the world, the more you see of life, the more you see of just how things go about, generally, you just get tired of the violence. You recognize how much harm it does. You recognize how many people get hurt and what that looks like, what that actually looks like to live through politically volatile, violent times. And it's not good. It's not fun anymore. Okay. So that just tracks to me as just a truism. But the shares of different age groups who say political violence is a very big problem have tended to go up and down in sync. Kirk, who died at age 31, was a well-known figure among younger adults, and more adults under 30 say political violence is a very big problem now than said so after past attacks. But concern is also up among older Americans. So it just tracks, and you can see the lines, regardless of age group, goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It is heartening to me to see even the youngest cohort here recognize, and the trend lines are good. Okay, this trend line actually is a good trend line. Okay, this is a positive trend line. We want people to have huge concerns about this and to recognize the danger that political violence puts us in. Okay, these are generally, there's an exception to this, and I'll get to that in a second, but these are generally good trend lines. The exception to why this might be a bad trend line, so to kind of like attack my own point for a minute, if you are being convinced that you live in a world where everyone wants to kill you, you will be concerned about political violence, but you will have a false idea of how often that happens. Now, in the world we live in, this is not a false idea. There have been 150 incidents of political violence in the first 6 months of this year. That's double the number that happened in a similar time period in 2024. And it's been going up. It's been increasing. So it is just correct and good to be alert about an increase and worried about an increase in political violence in America. Okay. The concluding postscript says the problem is people think political violence only comes from the opposite side. Yes, that also is true. Very, very correct. So here's where we get to the question, right, that people say. How many Americans say violence can be justified? Part of the discourse after Kirk's death has concerned comments on social media from some left-leaning figures celebrating Kirk's death. Others, especially on the right, have called such rhetoric unacceptable and have made varying claims about how prevalent such feelings are on the left. YouGov's polling shows that Americans overall are far more likely to say it is always or usually unacceptable to be happy about the death of the public figure they oppose than they are to say this is acceptable. It is true that liberal Americans are more likely than conservatives to defend feeling joy about the deaths of political opponents. 16% of liberals say this is usually or always acceptable, including 24% of those who say their ideology is very liberal, and 10% who say they are liberal but not very liberal. This compares to 4% of conservatives and 7% of moderates. But even among the very liberal, the share who say it's unacceptable to feel joy about the deaths of political opponents outnumber those who say it's acceptable by a ratio of more than 2 to 1, 56% versus 24%. Younger Americans are also about twice as likely as older Americans to defend feeling joy at political opponents' deaths. But even among this group, most people say this is unacceptable. So apparently I was wrong about the question that was asked in this poll. I thought, and the reason I thought this is this is how it's been presented to me by the right wing, ironically, is that they were asking how many think it's political violence is acceptable to do. No, this question's different. This question's asking, is it unacceptable to be happy about a public figure's death? which is to try to portray this as if that means that liberals are okay with doing politically violent actions. It doesn't track at all. It's not the same, right? These are entirely different questions. And now I'm kind of annoyed that people have been presenting this to me as if that's what it meant. Confluence says, that's R-slurred for real, and I love you, brother. Why is that R-slurred? Why is that retarded? You can just say retarded here. Make your argument. Call in if you like, Confluence. Come talk to me. It is a call-in show. Is anyone in the call-in show? Hold on. Let me see if anyone's backstage. Oh, there's a bunch of you. Okay. Shit. Here, I'll bring in someone, okay? I didn't see the order you guys arrived in, so forgive me. Okay? I'll start from the top. Hello. Hello. We can't hear you if you're talking, brother.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Oh, okay, what you got?
What do I got, man? I came in here with the full intention. Hold on, wait. Came in here with the intention to gloat. Again.
Gloat for what? Gloat about what?
I mean, a month ago, 2 months ago, called it out. Here we are. You know, it's shitty. This is not. I don't feel anything. I feel what I'm trying to get to is that, like, I want to gloat, but after hearing you talk, hearing you describe different things, I was watching Connor's stream earlier today, and I'm just, I don't know. It's fallen off. I don't know if it's because I'm just like, this isn't worth it anymore or whatever, man. But it's really, what did anyone expect?
What did you want to gloat about originally? I'm just curious.
About Destiny getting called out, about this shit happening, about this negative attention to the Democratic Party, the warning I put out about this behavior and where it would lead to, and how people need to separate and move away from.
Brother, I'm with you. I've been calling him out for this for a while, for a year at least.
No, not gloat to you, man. No, not gloat to you. That's just gloat in general. Just be a massive piece of shit because it's supposed to make me feel better, right? But it doesn't. Like, it just doesn't. You know, like it's funny. It's fun to be like, called it, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, and I think if I could give anyone in the crowd any advice, like, you got to move away from it. Still, you got to move away from him. You got to move from this feeling, this want for satisfaction. You can't be afraid to lose. You can't be afraid to pull yourself back. You can't be afraid to apologize. You can't be afraid to just realize you've had shitty behavior and be an adult and be like, yeah, that was a little too far. Or if it's somebody's like, come on, man, like, that offends me, just be like, yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. When you treat this environment like a game, you are going to end up with a game's result. And it's going to be a winner and a loser. And when there's a loser, in this scenario, a lot of people get hurt. A lot of stuff goes sideways. People lose their houses, their jobs, their careers. People lose loved ones. It's terrible. And this whole immature idea, the disavowing, that taking a higher road is somehow cucking out, is somehow letting the other side get away with something, is not true. Because when you are embattled with one another, you can't progress towards anything. If we want to truly address right-wing violence in this nation, we have to get to a point where we can all talk about it. If we want to address transgender healthcare, we have to get to a point where we can talk about it.
I think that, and I've said this before, it's not a new quote, but Ezra Klein said this today, or maybe it was yesterday. We have to be able to live with each other. And there are forces that are trying to make it so that we do not feel that we can. I think Elon Musk is a big purveyor in trying to stoke the flames and basically have us burn each other alive for his entertainment. He doesn't really make a lot of money off of this even, right? Like, he makes some, but he's already a billionaire, right? I can't imagine that's an incentive. Maybe it is. But it just seems to be like he wants to watch us tear each other apart. And my problem with Destiny is that he's helping Elon to do this. I don't think he knows I don't think he knows or realizes it. I think Destiny's just allergic to... I think Destiny is one setting. Double down. That's the only thing he knows how to do. Whenever he's called out for something, whenever something happens, double down, double down, double down. And this allows people like Elon to use him, okay, to help fan the flames, to help turn up the temperature. And people think, well, the temperature's already up. Brothers, it can get worse. Mm-hmm. I don't think you understand. We're not at the worst possible place yet. We're not even near it, frankly. Okay, we're at a 2 out of 10. Okay, this can go real bad real quick.
Yeah, people only think the highest temperature they've ever felt is that when their oven is on the highest setting, but the sun exists and that's way hotter. So don't think this is as hot as it gets. I mean, it's what I've been having to argue about a lot is the mindset of don't give. If you really want things to progress, you can't give the other side ammo to use against you. And you're right, Elon Musk is doing this for whatever personal preference he has. He wants to be loved by many. He wants to be in politics. He wants to have the leading opinion, whatever it is. But this is a behavior we see across the internet. Everyone wants to be right. Everybody wants to win. I suggested earlier you should watch the Sam Hyde video on your own time, not here on stream or anything. Just watch it yourself, because he points out a lot of stuff like that where it's like they don't want peace, they just don't want to lose. It's radicalizing a lot of people on the right now, but it's an important sentiment to remember, because it's not just the right or the left. It's everybody wants to win. Everybody wants their utopia, wants their ideal to a good and better world.
It's the meme, right? Where you have the political compass and the four people, the four faces in each thing, all thinking, I can't wait for society to burn down so my ideology can rise triumphant from the ashes, right? There is some truth to that, right? $10 from Alexander Wren to say, if we want to address right-wing violence in this country, we have to get people to admit it even exists. And yes, that is another problem. People are pushing so very hard to convince you that the other side is the only threat. That, oh, this is all just right-wing violence. Or, oh, it's all the left. And the right, we could just kind of ignore that. Or the left, oh, we could just kind of ignore that. It's not a big deal. And until we recognize that there are demons just gallivanting among us on all sides, you're always going to just find a way to turn this into a left versus right thing. And it's not. This is not a left versus right problem. It's just a problem. It is a problem that we have anyone in this country that thinks it's acceptable to use political violence in the situation we have now to enact a change, right? To combat their enemies with force and violence. And the fact that anyone, right or left, think that that's okay enough to go out and do it, That's a problem, and it won't get solved if you think your side is immune to the problem. It just won't.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
one last thing, then we got to cycle because there's people, right?
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's been an ever-present issue. I mean, I have an issue with the reporting of who does the most violence or whatever, but that's because everything is always observed from this 30,000-foot view. If they said they hate the government once, they're right wing. If they said, if they said "I love you, man" in a Discord chat, they're left wing. Like it's so myopic. It's so brittly put together when the true fact of the matter is you just have psychopaths in your society that are doing bad things to do bad things. We make these claims about each other without knowing full well what their politics are, who they voted for or whatever. We want to attribute left-wing violence to Biden, right-wing violence to Trump, and then we want to act like we've got all the answers, right? And nobody ever sees the fine details of an issue. They look at the bucket, at which category it was put in by whomever, and they go, "Yep, that's what it is. See, look at my graph, look at my chart." When it's always been known to us that there can be there could be lies through statistics operated by either side. So just look deeper into what people are telling you.
Thank you for calling in. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's it.
Ooh. Hey, let's bring on the next caller. See what they got to say. Again, I'm going to try to go in order. Hello, you're live.
Hello?
Hi, what's up?
Can you hear me?
I can. You're a little low, but I can turn you up on my end a little bit.
Okay. I have seen you talk about Destiny, right? And
Sure.
I feel like the focus on Destiny has been kind of unhinged recently, right?
From me?
Like he is not you.
Okay.
I'm just saying what you have covered today.
Sure.
All the tweets from Elon, tweets from Michael Laws, tweets from whoever on the right, they are all trying to say, "Oh, Destiny was celebrating it," when he obviously wasn't celebrating. He's just saying, "What about Trump? Why Trump is not disavowing?" Right? So I think that focusing saying, "Oh, Destiny has a wrong message. Destiny has a bad message," is just giving more ammo to the right. Like it's something you can do that and give ammo to the right wing by saying Destiny is saying something bad now.
So, I agree with you in that the right wing, Elon Musk, Michael Knowles, and a bunch of others are spinning this way out of proportion and trying to paint this and use Destiny basically to paint all like, look, this is what the left thinks. They want to kill you, blah, blah, blah. I agree with that portion. Where we disagree is I think Destiny is playing into it. He's helping them to do that when it was not a necessary thing. He did not. When he says that he refuses to call for toning down the temperature, right? When he says that he refuses to disavow anything until Trump does, all that does is enable the right to successfully do this. There's a reason that they're all targeting Destiny now. Do you know what that reason is? It's because all these people know, let me finish, then you can respond, right?
No, take your time.
Well, let me finish, then you can respond, I promise, okay? All these people know that it's going to be very effective for them to do that. That this is gold for them. They have recognized that this is a weak link that they can exploit to push their lies. And Destiny did not have to make that weak link, but he chose to do so. And I think that does deserve criticism. Okay, you can respond. Go ahead.
But I don't think that we should tailor our speech to satisfy the right wing. If everything say, "Oh, Destiny shouldn't have said that because the right wing is gonna use it against him," and we are just tailoring our speech to the right wing. In Destiny's word, he would call it like cuck maxing or optic maxing, where people are cucking to the right wing just so that actually we don't want you to use it against us, so we will do the cuck thing and say, oh, it's definitely bad. Trump doesn't actually need to condemn it or anything. We shouldn't bring Charlie Kirk's history of violence and
Hold on.
advocating about violence just because we don't the right wing to use it.
You're sneaking in a lot of things there, okay? So the thing you're sneaking in is that by us disavowing or calling for a turning down of a temperature, what that means is that we don't call out Trump for turning it up. And that's just not true. I've done it. Many have done it. There has been a ton of left-wing politicians, left-wing Democrats, left-wing influencers, tweeters, just rank and file who have no problem calling out Trump, calling out Elon Musk, calling out all these right-wing gross people for turning up the temperature. We do not have to, right? We do not have to refuse to disavow our side in order to attack the other side. We don't have to do that. And that's where I think Destiny gets it wrong, and I think where you're getting it wrong. I'm not tailoring my message to the right wing. What I am doing is simply telling the truth. And what that truth is that yes, there are people on our side who are bad. I can just readily admit that, and I disavow it. Then we can have the conversation about how Trump is worse. We can do that.
But
it's easy.
I think you know about the snark left? People
Fuck
like
those
Hassan,
guys. Who
Fatima
cares
Bernardo.
about the snark left?
The snark left are actively using what the right is doing. I think your panel in itself, where you are just discussing, oh, what Destiny is doing is bad. Destiny needs to be called out. In itself, you are helping the snark left and the right wing to attack someone who's actually defending Democrats in the U.S.
Okay, he needs to defend them better, right? Because he's not doing a very good job when he refuses to do the bare minimum. That's just true. Look, I agree with a lot with what Destiny says, okay? I agree with a lot of his positions. I agree with a lot of what he advocates for. I just
Why are you
do.
making
Let me finish real
to
quick,
criticize
please.
him?
Please. Like, I agree with a lot. But I don't think it is something that, like, I think it's okay to have a panel where I criticize him for doing something he just did. I think that that's okay to do. Why don't you?
Because I think Destiny is more important. Like it feels like how snarkers are just focusing on, oh, let's criticize Destiny for what he said here, what he said there. But the overall work, his overall message, is a lot more better for the Democratic Party and all the far leftists and the far right streamers. I don't care if he did one thing wrong. I think he should still maybe not focus on it.
I'm not focusing on it, I promise. I just...
You are making a whole panel about it.
Yes, I had one panel. I do 3 or 4 panels a week. Like, what do you want from me? Like,
into the
okay, let me just ask you this. When is it appropriate to criticize something Destiny has done? Is it ever appropriate to criticize something Destiny has done?
I agree. If you bring him on, have his voice, to have his side of thing instead of having a panel without him.
He was on the panel.
No, right now.
Oh, I'm not having a panel now. This is a call-in show.
Okay, then.
Hold on. If Destiny wants to call into my show right now, he's available to do so. He can do so, and I would have him on.
If you didn't invite him.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to bug. Like, hey, buddy, you want to come into my call-in show? Like, we don't have that kind of. I don't know. That's just weird. But if
you guys were more friendly.
I have told what my problem is with Destiny to his face. I've DM'd him about it. I've talked to him about it. Okay, in public, on stream. If he wants to talk more about it, he's very well willing to. I'm willing to have him on to do so if he wants. But
okay, but are you willing to do the same kind of panel about what Hassan is spewing?
I'm trying to set up a panel on what Trump is doing. And yes,
What about
I can.
Hassan?
If you want me to put a panel together about Hassan bad, I've already done that. We've had panels like that before.
No, but in terms of Charlie Kirk,
I honestly haven't seen what Hassan has said about Charlie Kirk at all.
I haven't either, but I don't think he said anything good.
Okay, well, if neither of us know what he said, I don't know how I can, like, I just don't know what I can do with that. But thank you for calling in. We do got a bit of a line. Last word for you. Last word for you. Go ahead.
There are other people who want to call. Just want to say thank you, Wick. I really like your panels.
Thank you. I'm glad you do. And I'll talk to you later. Okay, buddy? See, this is a problem. If Destiny does something I disagree with, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk about it. If it makes news and if it becomes a big deal, I might even have a panel about it. That's just going to happen. I will invite Destiny to talk about it with me, which I did on the panel, right? We just had this Friday, was it? It wasn't that long ago. Was it Thursday or Friday? I forget. It was one of those days. I don't know what else you guys want from me on this. You can disagree with my disagreement with Destiny. You could say, well, you're dumb, Wick, and you're wrong, and Destiny is right. That's fine. But don't accuse me of, like, dodging or accuse me of, like, being disingenuous or being harmful because I talk about it. We have to be able to talk about these things. Okay. Next guy. Hello, you're live.
Hello?
Hi, what's up?
Am I working? What's up? Okay, first of all, I want to say I love you, Wick, okay? And you're based, okay? Even though I'm coming here because I agree with Destiny, I think his tactics are based, okay? People are kind of retarded towards you, okay? Get that out of the way, all right? Glazing's over.
Out of the way, glazing's over. Now for the real bullshit. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like, look, right now, Elon Musk is posting about a conversation you and Destiny had. That's pretty fucking, like, insane. And I feel like if it's just, yeah, we condemn it like normal, then it's literally the meme where it's just they turn around and give you the thumbs up and then, like, keep ignoring you. Like, Destiny's tactic gets attention. It starts a conversation. Every time he does this, it goes on Pierce, and we don't see much progress. But I feel like that's just because Republicans are unhinged, and there's not going to be any progress.
Okay, so first of all, $20 from Per Thompson to say, I can't call in right now, but I'd love for you to Steelman his position for us. Clarify what you want Steelman, and I'll do that after this caller. How's that, Per Thompson? But to address your point, sir, not all attention is good attention. Not all conversations are good conversations for us. And the conversation we should be having now, right, is, wow, look at what Elon Musk is posting about how the left wants to kill you. Isn't that unhinged? Look at Pam Bondi talking about making hate speech laws, talking about taking away freedom of association, enforcing printing companies to print posters that they don't agree with and things like that. That's unhinged. That's crazy. But the reason that Elon Musk and all these right-wing people are successfully, in my opinion, being able to focus on Destiny is because Destiny has committed an unforced error. All he had to do was say, yeah, that's unhinged. We need to turn down the temperature. That's literally all he had to say, and then we wouldn't be even having any of these conversations because we'd all be attacking the right wing. But for whatever reason, he's got the switch flicked to double down always, and he can never not double down. And it's frustrating to me, and I don't like it. And I think it's hurting us, and it's going to hurt us more.
Well, I mean, I feel like there's two kind of conversations here. One is like, do you think that Destiny is like doubling down just because he feels like he's cornered himself? Or do you think this is the position he actually takes?
I think it's a little bit of one, a little bit the other. I think that his, I don't know why he's done this. I do think he is frustrated, and this is mind reading, and I hate mind reading and psychoanalyzing. Okay, I hate it. It's cringe. It's gross. But if you ask me, which you have, I think he feels frustrated that no one is paying attention, or he feels no one is paying. I think he's wrong on this, by the way. He feels that the right aren't paying a price for their unhingedness. So he's like, fuck it. I don't give a shit. I want to be unhinged too. And that's what he's doing. Now, he's wrong about this. I think that, and let me explain, and then you can counter if you like.
Yeah, you're
good.
But
2024 was a unique election for a lot of reasons. We had incumbents across the globe lose their elections because everyone worldwide was upset about the economy. We also had our incumbent being pushed out, right, in an unprecedented move, and then a candidate no one elected into the the primaries, right? And no one voted for in the primaries, right? Had 3 months to run a new campaign. And we are assuming that, this changes everything, and the right hasn't paid a price. Look, they won in 2016, but ever since then they've been losing. The right wing has been losing. They've been losing electorally, where it matters at the end of the day, right? 2024 was unique, and they eked out a win when they shouldn't have, but they did. But we're all panicking and throwing away the things that have been super effective for us in the past because of that. And I think he's wrong, and he's just myopic and looking at only the present thing, and he's making bad decisions. But go ahead.
I mean, I would agree with you that the right has been losing, but Donald Trump hasn't. Like, in most of the elections that we see in like the midterms or whatever, they lost miserably. I think it's just Trump doesn't pay attention much. Trump doesn't care much. Like, Trump's fan base has only gotten more deranged, in love with him. And like, I don't know, like, has Trump really paid a price ever? Have the Republicans?
Well, 2022 he wasn't on the ballot. That's fair, but he did pick a lot of candidates. He promoted a lot of candidates. So what the DNC did in 2022 is, and this was controversial at the time, okay, because it had some risk associated with it. They decided to prop up the campaigns in the primaries of the most unhinged MAGA kind of guy that you could find, right? So whatever moderate Republican was there, they would try to outseat the moderate Republican and replace it with some MAGA crazy. And they did. And in the instance, in the times that was successful and the DNC was able to do that, the Democrat won in the general election, okay? And they did this because they recognized that the general election will punish what they view as the more extreme candidate. So, yes, Trumpism, MAGAism, has been paying a price for their crazy.
I mean, maybe. There was there was something else I was going to talk about.
That's okay.
Hold on, I completely lost focus. What were we talking about before this? I feel like there was two things we were talking about before we got on the electoral stuff.
Destiny, Trump, unhinged. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess back to the original point about his tactics.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, another thing you said in the other conversation was that this is a both sides issue, and I disagree with that too. I feel like most of the violence that we see still is coming from Donald Trump. Like, without Donald Trump and MAGA in the past 10 years, I feel like even a lot of the violence that we saw from the left probably wouldn't have existed or taken place.
So I disagree with that too, because we are living in an increased era of political violence, but it is not the most political violence we've ever experienced. The 60s were much worse, for example. The 90s were worse, right? We saw more right-wing violence in the 90s than we're doing now, right? And I agree with you that overall, the right tends to blow up more people, okay? They tend to be more people die when right-wing people do violence. But I don't think it's helpful to look at the issue that way, because I don't think it actually solves the problem. if we want to solve the problem of violence in America, we have to recognize that most of these people who are engaging in this violence, whether it's ideologically motivated or not, are psychopaths that have been radicalized to not care about anything, and they've become irony poisoned in a lot of ways. And I think that turning it into a left issue versus a right issue, no one's going to listen to me. If I say this is the right wing's problem and the right wing has to deal with it, everyone who is right wing is going to think I'm talking about them specifically and stop listening to me. Does that make sense? They'll just turn their brains off.
Yeah,
you agree
but then
with
like
that?
what do we do? I do agree with that.
Okay.
But then I feel like that kind of just makes like Destiny's point of like, if these people don't want to listen to us, but they want to keep getting more and more insane, because like Donald Trump is trying to deploy the National Guard in every major city
But
right
there
now.
are ways we can get them to listen to us if we don't turn their brains off. If we come at this from different angles, they will listen to us. I do believe.
I don't see that how they I don't see how they have listened to us whatsoever in the past 10 years. Like we got Biden, and Biden got a lot of stuff done reaching across the aisle, and then McCarthy got ousted for working with Biden. And then all of that changed for the, what was it, 2 years of his presidency left, and then there was just pretty much nothing done after that.
Look, again, even when we have great messaging and even we're doing everything exactly right, we're not going to win every single political fight, but we won more, right? We won more when the moderate group or cohort of voters saw Republicans as worse. And to bring this back to Destiny, right? What Destiny is doing is he's making it harder for the guy who just glances at politics every now and again to tell the difference between the right and the left. And the biggest threat here isn't that Destiny's going to drive people to become MAGA. I don't think that's going to happen. But what I think might happen, and probably will happen actually, is that he's going to make it hard to tell the difference between Trump and the left, and people are going to say, a pox on both your houses and stay home. They don't want anything they don't want to deal with the left. They don't want to deal with the right. They just don't care anymore and they check out. And I don't want that to happen.
I mean, that already did kind of happen in the last election, and that was after Biden, and Biden was like the most milquetoast, reach across the aisle, try to be a president for everyone, and that failed kind of miserably.
Again, I think that you can't extrapolate things a lot from the 2024 election because Biden got pushed out. No one voted for Biden, right, in 2024. They voted for Kamala Harris because Biden wasn't running anymore, right? We can't ignore that variable.
I mean, no, and there was other things, like there was inflation.
Yeah,
and
it
like,
was a mess.
It was just hopefully it was a just unfortunate culmination of things, and next election cycle we're gonna be all A-okay, but I don't know. It just seems very, very black-pilling, and when you have like the president doing things like deporting people and ramping up the rhetoric, when on the Democrat electoral side, I don't think you see the same type of behavior. I don't know. Like,
yeah, well, we do got a bit of a line. You can
yeah,
have your
yeah.
last
I
word
feel like we're
or
talking
last
in
word.
circles. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Goodbye, Wick.
Oh,
Okay, you're
love you
loved.
too.
Okay,
Bye.
goodbye.
It is what it is. I don't know. Yeah, gang, if you're DMing me asking me to look at things, I'm streaming right now, okay? I can't look at them right now. Just describe it to me, okay? Let's bring on the next contestant on whatever this shit show is. You're live.
Hey, Rick, how
Hello.
you doing?
What's up?
I think we agree on a decent amount, but I also think that maybe we disagree some, and I'm just willing to talk through some of it, I guess.
What do you got?
So I feel like you had a pretty decent reaction to the whole October 7th, as well as the Luigi stuff, right?
When you say decent, what do you mean?
Could you say that again? I'm sorry.
When you say decent, what do you mean?
As in, you found it like kind of reprehensible, both the action as well as a decent amount of the reaction
Yes,
from mostly the left.
Yes, I do not like when people celebrate violence. I don't like it. I think it's abhorrent.
And I think that's also the biggest factor for the recent happenings with Charlie.
Yes, I think anyone celebrating the death is abhorrent.
I just feel like a lot of people don't realize that it's less about like the actual like Charlie dying, and a lot of people are looking around and seeing the reaction to it, and they're then gonna react to that. I feel like similar
So,
to the previous
I know what you're saying.
instances I mentioned.
So I'll say this. There are people who are on the left who are being very abhorrent in how they're reacting to this. They're celebrating it. They're calling for more. That exists. It's not fake news. It's not anything like that. But it is much smaller of a cohort than people like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and many on the right would have you believe. What the right
And
is
that's,
doing,
I think,
hold
our
on just real quick,
disagreement.
and I'll let you respond once I'm finished, right? What the right is doing is they are pedestaling the crazies. They are trying to make it out as if it's a much larger cohort than it actually is. Trump is trying to paint the entirety of the left as these people when it is obviously not. It is a very, very small group of people that are very, very loud. And I think that is fanning the flames and making everything more dangerous when you are trying to make out as if everyone on the left wants you dead. I think what you're doing is you're making the world a more dangerous place. You should not do that. But go ahead.
I disagree, and I think what he is actually doing is lowering the temperature, because I think the left views violence as a dial, and I think the right views violence as a switch. And right hasn't flipped that switch yet, but the left seems to be turning up the dial. And so, in my opinion, with Trump in power and all that, unless he does a substantial crackdown to the left, and not the whole left, obviously, but a legal, humane, political crackdown on people like advocating for violence, doing the whole Rwanda radio stuff, I feel like that's a necessity.
Who's
And
doing the
if it
Rwanda
doesn't
radio
happen,
stuff on the
and if
left?
it doesn't happen, the reaction from the right will switch.
Okay.
And I
Who's
do not
doing-
want to see that. That is
Yeah.
the last fucking thing I want to see.
Yeah. Who's doing the Rwanda radio stuff on the left right now?
I think you can pretty easily find it. Just the ongoing dehumanizing behavior that goes on both, I will admit, on the right and the left, and I think
Okay.
it needs to stop on both ends.
Okay, so what I'm asking you this is because the Rwanda radio stuff was an organized, kind of top-down propaganda tool that was being waged on purpose. The celebrations that I've seen on the left aren't organized. They're onesies and twosies. They're crazies. Okay, so to paint it as if there is this organized group on the left that is trying to propagandize and advocate for more violence, can you show me the group doing this?
Just Antifa, just the different cells of it. Like, obviously, it's not
Antifa,
like
the different
a concrete.
Can you send me a link or something?
Well, I don't think it's. I think it's more of like an idea type thing where, yes, I feel like there is actually a lot of foreign funding to Antifa, and a lot of foreign funding to terror groups on the right as well. And I think that's the kind of stuff that does need to be like cracked down on and like gone after.
I don't think that is an accurate view of what's actually happening on the ground. At least not that I've seen. Again, if someone can, this is a problem. It's all vagaries. It's all these kind of allusions to something grand going on, like these NGOs that are funding these things. But when you look to see and kind of nail down, okay, who's doing it and where are they doing it and where is it manifesting, it's slippery. And you guys keep kind of retreating into different things. And
Would
that
you be
bothers
open to
me.
investigation?
Because just let me finish real quick. Like, I agree with you that there are crazies on the left that should not be there, I disavow, that are doing crazy things. But my contention with the right is that you're making you're turning what might be 1,000 people into 100,000 people or 1 million. I saw what Shuan Head used the term millions, and there are not millions of these people on the left. They're just not.
Then completely exorcise them from your community legally, humanely, and politically.
What does that even
But
look like? Excise them
what
from
I'm
my
saying
community.
is, like, we both agree that the next election, if the Democrats move farther left, they're going to lose, right? We both agree
yes,
on that.
I do agree.
And we both agree that if they moderate themselves, they have a chance of winning.
They
right?
will. Well, all we have to do to win is be normal.
What I'm saying
if we're
is
normal,
I don't
we
think
will
they're
win.
moderating themselves. I think they're going further left. And if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. That's fantastic, but I just don't see that happening. I feel like they are going off the
see
deep
it,
end
man.
of it.
Last word, then I'm gonna cycle you out.
No, thanks for having me on. It was nice back and forth.
Bye.
Love you, and once again, like, have nothing but love for everyone. I hope everyone is doing as well as they can be, and I hope you're all doing great. And I just wish the best for everyone.
Peace and love. Yeah. If you think that there are millions of people out there advocating for more violence against right-wingers, you're living in La La Land, okay? You're living in La La Land. At least not in America. Maybe in Russia or something, maybe in China, but not in America. But yeah, all we got to do, look, gang, all we got to do, the Democrats, all we have to do, and please, I'm begging, I'm on my knees here, be normal. If you are just normal, we will sweep, okay? We will sweep. But if you're out here saying, I'm not going to disavow anything, I'm not going to disavow until Trump disavows, you're not being normal. You're being weird. Stop it. Confluence, you're in the wrong chat for me to bring you on. You're in the downstairs chat. You need to go in the upstairs chat. Here. I'll help. Okay, you're on now. Hello. Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh, there we are.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hello?
Hello!
Oh, there we go. Okay, you can hear me. You can't see me though.
Not yet.
That's okay, I guess. I can't hear you though. Where'd
You
you
can't
bring
hear
me
me?
into?
Can you hear me now?
Fucking hell.
Oh no.
Why can't I? Wait, just give me a sec. Don't kick me, Wick. Don't kick me. I swear to
You got a
Christ.
few seconds and then
No,
I'm
I'm good. I can hear you. Okay.
You can hear me?
I can hear you. I'll try to turn on my camera. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna work. I look really tiny because I couldn't get OBS virtual
I don't
work.
care if you're tiny or large. Okay, we don't size judge here.
Okay. I'm really tiny, as you can see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can I come at you, Wick?
Yes,
'Cause
come
I've been
at
on
me.
a couple of your panels, but like, you're making me annoyed. Okay, like, because you said that the people celebrate. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You said the people celebrating political violence are somehow ontologically different. Well, those weren't your words; those are my words. Than the people who did the violence themselves. I think those people are the exact fucking same person. I think if you are someone who is jeering on political violence, you are just as guilty as the Thomas Crooks of the world or the Matthew, whatever the fuck his name is. To me, those are tantamount.
So
Do you
you
disagree
think
or
that
do you
someone
agree?
on Twitter going, ha ha, I'm glad Kirk is dead, is just as guilty as Tyler Robinson, who shot
Yes.
Charlie Kirk in the neck.
Yes,
You
and
think
I
that? You
want
believe that?
Yes, and I want
Should
you
they
to
be
give me
punished the same?
No, they shouldn't be
Okay,
punished the
then
same.
you don't believe that, to be clear.
No.
Then you don't believe that, because if
No,
you
I
did
don't.
believe that, you would want a
No.
similar
Look.
punishment.
Look, Wick. Like you said in an Andrew Wilson Christian nationalist debate that you were, like a lapsed Christian, right? So you can understand that there could be a difference between how we react to things culturally on a realistic level versus how we react to things spiritually. I would say on a spiritual level, they are the fucking same. They are the exact same
They are
type
not.
of person. They are. It is just the lack of ability and agency that controls it. I think a lot of these people that are jeering, Wick, I think you could see this. A lot of these people that are like reveling in it, if they had more agency and more presence, they would do the same thing, and they just don't because they
No.
lack that ability.
There are plenty of things that I would find amusing that I would never engage in, right? Plenty
I'm
of
not saying
actions that I
amusing,
think
but-
would be interesting to do, but I would never do them because I don't want to go that far, right? I'll give you a silly one.
Why
I
don't you
think
wanna
it
go
would
that
be
far?
I'll give you a silly one and make you laugh, okay?
Okay, I'm ready to laugh.
I think gangbangs are cool, right? Interesting. I'd watch them,
Okay.
but I would never do one. I would never participate, okay? For a host of reasons. Even though I have no problem with it,
Okay.
I think it's fine, I would never do it, right? So it's funny. It's a little
Okay.
silly thing to think about, right? But I think that this translates to people who might laugh at violence, but would never do violence.
No, I think right, but I feel Wick. I feel we're saying the same thing. You're saying the reason you're saying you're kind of into gangbangs, but you wouldn't do it because maybe there's like an extra cost. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that these people are so nihilistic and are so accelerationist, they're beyond the pale, and they just won't do it because they have too much to lose, or they don't have the power, or it's like too anxious for them to do it. They don't have enough benzodiazepines to like pull it off. I agree with you. I agree they're not going to practically do it, but morally speaking, from a spiritual point of view, the people celebrating violence and the people doing it, I think, are tantamount. Yeah, they're the same.
I
tantamount.
strongly disagree with you.
Can you give me a reason why, though? Because I think morality is all about intention. And you said you were a lapsed Christian, so
It
I don't
isn't.
want to hold
Hold
you
on.
to that. But
No,
morality
I
is
disagree
about
with your
intention,
foundational
right?
premise here. I don't
Okay.
think morality is all about intention. In fact,
Really?
I would argue that in many cases, your intention does not matter at all. Whether or not you meant to do something that led to the death of 10 people does not absolve you. Now, intention does play into how much moral guilt you have, right? But it does not absolve you entirely. If you
Okay,
through your
are-
negligence with no intention whatsoever, you did something or you failed to do something that led to the death of 10 people, that does not make you, right, suddenly absolved of sin because you didn't intend it to happen.
It depends on what level we're talking. I mean, you're familiar with like moral luck in philosophy, yes?
Okay, you are acknowledging that they aren't the same. You could, I agree with
No,
you that we should have some condemnation for the people
No,
who
I'm
are
saying
celebrating.
they're the same. I'm saying it just depends on what level you're talking. From a moral luck point of view, if you like get behind the wheel of a car and you've had 10 drinks and you kill someone, yes, you've done the same consequential action, but you didn't intend on doing that. I think you and me, I feel like we both agree that like intentionally killing someone is probably worse than like drunk driving, accidentally killing someone.
Yes.
Even though from a boots on the ground level, it's the same result, right?
Yes.
Right. So I guess that's what I'm saying. So the people cheering it on, they have the intention. They don't have the action, but they have the intention
No,
to do
they
the
don't.
evil.
Okay, when you say cheering it on, are you talking celebrating? Or are you talking people who are advocating for more?
I guess both. I
Okay,
think both.
See, no. I might even be with you if you were saying that the people who were advocating for more, I'd be like, okay, I still wouldn't agree that they're the same, right? But I would, okay, they're closer. But the people who are just cheering it on and celebrating and not advocating for more and just laughing because one of their enemies got hurt, that's condemnable. But that is not near the same culpability or near the same amount of moral judgment I would put on the person who actually did the crime.
Okay, Wick, let me ask you a personal question.
Ask me.
You
We
seem
did
like a
talk
good
about
guy.
gangbangs earlier, so okay.
Exactly,
We've
yeah. Okay,
gotten
let's
to the
get
personal.
personal.
Right.
Yeah. So what would have to happen in your personal life for you to cheer on the death of someone that you disagree with? You don't like Andrew Wilson. Let's say he
Oh,
gets
I would
shot
never
in the
cheer on his
fucking
death
head. Exactly, you wouldn't,
publicly.
and I know you wouldn't because I know you're a good guy. So what would have to happen? What would have to go wrong in your mind for you to think that that's a good idea?
Okay, I'll tell you. If someone came in and if I had a child and someone killed that child, okay, and murdered my child, and then that person died, I might celebrate.
Exactly. So how do you extrapolate that to the fucking Zoomers on like TikTok that are like gleeful, that are so into Schadenfreude that they're just like their mind is gone. They're just like their eyes are like callow and hopeless. How do you?
Because
you
I
can never
don't
get to that
think-
state, right?
I don't
Unless it
think
was, like,
celebrating
someone like your
hold on.
kid died.
Hold on. Will you agree with me that 99.9% of the people who are celebrating never met Kirk at all?
Yes.
They've never met him in
course.
person.
Yeah.
They never shook his hand. There is a level of separation that, and this is just a product of the social media and just media in general world that we live in, where you have these public figures that everyone thinks they know, right? Or has heard of, but they don't know. They're not real. They're not human to them. They don't see them as human. So while I think that a lot of these people would never celebrate if someone they actually knew and a right-winger they were actually, worked with or whatever, I don't think that they would be celebrating that death because they see them as human, right? But a lot of people and I condemn this. This is wrong. But they see Charlie Kirk as just a talking head. They don't see him as a human. So no, I don't think that they are just as morally culpable as the killer. It's not the same.
I don't think. Look, all these people have seen him exsanguinate from his neck. This isn't like I think I agree with you. I think that people thought that things were like far removed and they didn't see it, but they're seeing it up close in 1080p. I mean, and if you could imagine actually a hypothetical, Wick, honestly, be real with me, like the gangbang, be real. If you thought these people, the manic people on social media, the people like fully engaging with it, if they were in a room with Charlie Kirk alone and there was no legal consequences and they had a gun, do you think they would kill Charlie Kirk?
I think most of them would not.
With a guarantee of no legal consequence.
Yes, most of them would not, because there's a difference between
morality.
observing and doing. And that,
why wouldn't they?
Hold on, let me explain. Right,
Okay.
I'll answer your question. I'll explain the difference here. Is
I'm sorry.
the leap you have to take to thinking about or celebrating violence to actually doing violence. There is a gulf there that is much harder than you might think to get over. Remember, I've been in the military, right? So again, we train, but there's still, even with all that training to kind of bridge that gulf, right? There is still a gulf. A lot of people will sign up for the military. A lot of people will.
I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off, but I feel like that's a different question. I
Okay,
agree there's a huge gulf, but I'm talking about, again, like a hypothetical. The crazy person who's like cheering on Kirk's death, they're in a room. So they've already crossed the gulf of like acquiring a firearm and like going to do it. Because I agree, that is a gulf. Like, people don't have the agency or the presence to actually pull that off.
Okay, so in your hypothetical, they haven't just been dropped in this room. They've actively planned a situation where they have cornered Kirk. They've bought the firearm previously. They've set this all up themselves. Then I might agree with you. But in the hypothetical where they're just, if I snap a finger and suddenly they find themselves in a situation where there's this gun in their hand.
I do mean the latter, but I mean, they know beyond a shadow of a doubt there is no legal consequence. There is nothing. They have a gun. They have Charlie Kirk and he's like tied up and they could pull the trigger or they could not. And there's no moral consequences. There's no ethical. There's no legal. There's no anything. They just have a choice to kill him. Do you think they would?
No, I think most of them would not. Some
Really?
would.
Why? What's the gulf? What's the gulf there? Because I get the gulf with like going and acquiring a Mauser and setting up a scope. To me, that's a big gulf. To actually going at 2 a.m. and going on campus, that's a gulf. But actually being just in the room, I mean, that's not a golf anymore. You're in the room, you have the firearm, the person's tied up, you could shoot or not shoot.
There is a difference in most people's minds, right? It becomes much more real when you're holding the weight of that gun and you're looking someone in the fucking eyes and you got your barrel pointed against their head, right? I think that most of the people in that situation would be like, nah, man, this is just too much. Like it's like talking shit online, but when you meet the person, you're like, oh, hey, pleasure to meet you. Nice to meet you, right?
I know, but the difference is, I think in this example, you have all the power. I think the problem is these people are powerless fucks that don't have any ability to do what Matthew did or what Thomas Crooks did. They don't have the ability to actually carry this out. But I think if they had the ability, I mean, they would definitely. I feel like, because I guess what are you saying is holding them back? Is it an ethical thing? Are you saying they actually feel ethically bad? Because I think that's
yes,
like
I think that
patently
most
false.
people feel that murder, right? Because and this is a good thing, right? That most people just won't take another person's life. They just won't do it.
Yeah, but I think most people,
Except in
like,
extremists,
I don't
like
think-
if they
I don't
get
think
super
most people-
angry,
why
right,
don't-
in the heat of the moment, or
why don't
if
you, Wick,
self-defense
why wouldn't
or
you
something.
celebrate someone's death? Why don't you? I saw you. The reason I found you is because you were arguing with Destiny because he was celebrating the firefighter's death, Corey.
Yeah, do you
and
think
that's
Destiny would took a shot at Trump?
Yes, he
I don't.
said it. According to Destiny, if Destiny was in a room, I saw him on Adam 22's podcast.
He may have
Adam
said
asked him
that,
if
but I
you
don't
were in
believe
a
he would.
room.
I think he'd cuck out.
Who's the best judge of like his character? It's probably him, right? Like, are
He's
you saying Destiny
on
Destiny
stage
himself?
and he's saying shit.
He was in a podcast with Adam 22.
I
He
don't
said,
think he
"Absolutely, if I could
think he
press a
has the
button and Trump would
balls
die, I would
to
press
kill
the
anyone,
button."
frankly.
Okay, but I think that's just like you being naive, though. Like I think you see the glee in these people's eyes. I think you are a good moral person, and I think I am a person who would not cheer on death. But I think we both have to realize that there's a lot of people that will cheer on death and are fine with it.
Yes, there are a lot of people who will cheer on death, but that is not the same as actually engaging in violence.
It's not the same in the sense of the practical boots on the ground ramification via your perspicacity to do it and your ability and your willingness and your courage and your adrenaline dumping and all that. But morally, I think it is the same. I don't think. I want to know why it's not the same.
I think I've explained it to you.
No, you haven't. As a lapsed Christian. Okay, as a lapsed Christian. Okay, I don't want to quote like the Bible, but like there's a passage in Matthew. It says to lust after a woman is to commit adultery with her in her heart, right? And to call your brother a fool is the same as murdering him. So don't you think then, based on that, again, I know you're a lapsed Christian, so you might not hold to it, but if you are cheering on someone's death, if you are that, because there's no one in my mind I would cheer on their death like that. I hate Hassan. I wouldn't cheer on his death. If you're doing that, have you not committed murder in your heart? Would you not at least agree with me on an ethical, maybe like a far-strung point of view? Would you not agree on that?
But in the biblical sense, if we're going to use that as our moral compass in this conversation, right? There is a difference. God will not punish you for a thought sin like he would for actual sin.
Absolutely. No, that is biblically inaccurate. If by thought you mean like the Christian church distinguishes like a baseline thought versus an actual thought. Like if you have like a predilection to something, you have a predilection to do murder. That's different than the thought to do murder. But these people that we're talking about, they're doing active cognitive murder against people.
The
right?
reason that there's a difference here, and the reason that Christ condemns it and says what he does is because he recognizes a truth. And the truth is this, that yes, someone who celebrates it is more likely to do to a thing. So when you dwell on a thing, when you think about a thing, when you lust after your neighbor's wife in your heart, you are much more likely to commit adultery, right? We know this is just true. It's just a true thing, right? You think about it, stew on it, and eventually you might give in to that temptation, right? Do you agree with me so far?
I agree with you, but I think you're lessening the passage incredibly, but I agree with you.
Okay. You know, I just had
He
a
says you're guilty of
religious
it, Wick. He
debate.
says you're guilty of it. He says if you've lusted after a woman, you are guilty. He doesn't say you are more susceptible under like certain conditions
Yeah,
to
I
commit
just-
adultery. He says you're guilty of it.
Okay. But I don't think that you are guilty in the same way as if you actually do it.
From a consequentialist point of view, or from like a virtue ethics point of view?
From a
'Cause
virtue ethics point of view.
See, that's where I disagree. If you said consequentialism, I would agree with you. But from a virtue ethics point of view, it is literally identical. I don't know how you don't see that.
It's not, because if I celebrate a thing, I might not do a thing.
Right, but that's because of dint of your upbringing and your ability to carry that out.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of people in line. We just disagree.
Okay.
We can fight about this another time,
Yeah,
because you're just,
yeah.
again, just think about what you're advocating for. That anyone ever who celebrated something awful when they shouldn't have done it should be held just as culpable in the social,
No, that
social
shows me that
mind
you don't
as someone who's
understand the
actually done it.
conversation
That's
we
wild
had
to
with.
say.
That shows me you don't understand the conversation we had, because I separated those planes. I'm talking about spiritual and physical. I'm saying spiritually, they're just as culpable. Physically, no. I don't think we should take Destiny and like give him the death penalty. Like I think we should give like Thomas Crooks.
No, I'm going to the social.
But like,
that's why I didn't say legal. I said social consequences.
no,
right?
but you said you opposed me on.
I would not
virtue
treat
ethics.
the
That's
person
not a
the same.
social
Like
thing,
I wouldn't
Wick. Virtue
disavow,
ethics is
like
not
not
social.
disavow. I wouldn't, like, if someone actually killed someone, okay, I would condemn them much harder than someone who just laughed about it. I don't think we should condemn them the same. I just don't. Morally.
Laughing, sure, but like giving your acquiescence too, giving your support too, from a virtue ethics and you said virtue ethics, you think it's different, so I guess that's what I'm challenging you on.
Okay.
Because I agree, consequentially, socially, I agree, all those, like, I'm not saying that we should put Destiny in the fucking, in jail for like what he did in the same way that we should put Matthew in jail. I'm not saying that. But I think from like a spiritual point of view, they're the same. And I don't see any reason why you've presented to me, besides disposition, biological, just the ability to carry it out, the willingness, the lack of adrenaline dumping. I have seen nothing from you. And you can move me on, that's fine.
No,
but I just
because I
just
want
wanna
you
say
to
I haven't seen
understand.
anything.
I want you to understand, because I don't think you do. Maybe it was a mistake to bring up virtue ethics. Maybe I should have just kept it to simply the boots on the ground, kind of like when the rubber meets the road. If you believe that everyone, literally everyone, who is celebrating, not just laughing, but celebrating this, would, if they could, commit the same act, I don't think you understand humans. Just like at a fundamental level. Because they won't.
I think it depends. I think we can, maybe if you want to move this on to someone else, I think the issue is could is a very load-bearing word. So like could, that carries a lot of weight. So could mean that they have the ability to, they have the motivation to, they're not going to be held legally responsibly to. And I think maybe we would disagree on that, but I think that's where the issue for us lands, is I think if they were given free moral culpability and they were never going to be punished and they could do it, I think they would do it.
And
That's
do
my
you
stance.
understand what the consequences of you successfully convincing people that you're correct about this? What do you think the consequences will be for our social order?
Well, brother, I'm thinking from a virtue ethics point of view. I'm not thinking from a consequentialist point of view. I'm not a consequentialist, okay? I'm a virtue ethicist.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know what the consequences would be. I mean, you tell me.
Everyone would feel justified doing to these people who are celebrating the same thing they would do to the actual committer of violence, because, as you have convinced them, they have committed the same sin.
Yeah, but I'm not saying.
And
we
that's
should
what they
go-
would do. And
No,
it would
I
be
mean-
a horror.
Maybe, but I'm not saying you should go. I'm not saying you should go and find Matthew and end game him in prison if the FBI doesn't give him the death. I'm not saying that. You can't put that on me. I'm saying I'm hoping the consequence is that the people that are cheering it on with Schadenfreude in their hearts and they know that they want the death, I'm hoping they recognize that that is just as guilty as doing it themselves. That's what I hope.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, Wick.
And I'll have a great
God
day.
bless you.
God bless you as well, sir.
Goodbye.
I think it's very clear, right? But I don't know. It's the same rhetoric that Elon Musk is saying is the left all wants to kill you, right? It's the same thing. It's like, see all these people celebrating it, they all want to kill you. Go out, right? And he leaves this unsaid, but what follows from that is that you defend yourself, quote unquote. Okay, it's crazy rhetoric. Anyway. You're live. What's up? Hello. You're muted on your end, sir.
What's up, bud?
Yeah, what's up?
Not much. Just feeling like a German Jew in 1930, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I got an idea. So, if we were to say have a mass like flag burning, like protest demonstration,
For what?
assuming everything is,
Oh, just to protest by flag burning?
Yeah, and like assuming everything's safe, we're not like setting it on fire next to like a gas station or some
Yeah,
shit.
sure.
Right? And everybody's chill. How many people would have to go to prison for a year for the crime of flag burning for you to say, okay, maybe shit is this bad?
Okay. So, when you say this bad, you mean what? Can you
I mean,
elaborate?
yeah, maybe Destiny, you're correct.
Oh, it's an infinite amount, because I don't think that, like, him, when you say Destiny is correct, are you talking about his advocacy that we don't turn down the temperature and we refuse to do so until Trump does?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter. An infinite number of people could go to jail or whatever, right? Because I think that his tactics are going to fail. They are a failing way of doing things, even in extremis. You always, always, always try to turn down the temperature. If you cannot, and if it goes up anyway and it passes certain thresholds, there. But you're always trying and always open and always wanting and actively working towards turning down the temperature. So what Destiny is doing right now is he has the ability, in a much bigger way than I do, to turn down the temperature, okay? To settle things down.
Mm-hmm.
He is deciding not to. What this does is two things. One, it gives ammo to the other side to say, look, see, they're not gonna back off. He's tit for tatting us. We gotta tit back. We gotta tat back, right? We gotta escalate. Okay, it gives him ammo for that. And the second thing it does is it drives away moderates from the Democratic Party and people who are looking at this and saying, man, if they're unhinged on that side and they're unhinged on the other side too, a pox in both their houses. Fuck it. I'm just done.
Okay. I mean, I guess I would hope that, in my hypothetical, I would hope that moderates would say, damn, they're sending these people to prison for burning the flag. Hopefully that would get the moderates on our side.
It will if we just be normal. All we have to do is be normal.
It's hard to be normal.
But can you understand the
situation where being normal hasn't?
Sure.
What?
Can you
Go ahead.
admit to me that Destiny right now is not being normal?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Thank you. Carry on then.
Okay. Caveat: I don't know when the last time being normal has like paid off. Like for us, it's paid off for the right.
Well, it paid off. It's paid off in 2022. It paid off in 2020. It paid off in 2018. What are you talking about?
I mean, I paid off in the sense that we know that like saying violence is bad is like the right thing to do. Whereas the
think
right
it's the right
doesn't
thing to do.
seem to. Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
The question we're all asking is it the pragmatic thing to do, though, right?
It's also the pragmatic thing to do. Yes.
Well, again,
Both of
that's
these are
the
true.
question. I know you believe that.
Yeah.
I want to believe that.
Okay.
I'm just not seeing a whole lot of reasons to believe that.
I think that that's what the ops want you to think, right? A lot of people, Elon Musk, the right is pushing that on you. They are pushing this narrative that the right is ascendant culturally, that look, everyone is on their side, the left is being routed at every turn. Trump won bigly in 2024, and he has a mandate from heaven, and the real America loves republicanism and hates those lefties. You are being sold a lie. That is not
Well, I mean, those
true.
people believe that, though, right?
No, most people do not believe
Oh.
that. Most people do not believe
No,
that.
the people saying that believe that.
Okay.
Right?
I can't judge whether or not most people who say it believe it or not. You'd have to ask me each thing.
Okay.
I don't know, but I don't think it matters whether they believe it or not, right?
Well, to me, that's all that matters. Because if they don't believe it, then we can win an election and they'll cry about it and then go home. If they do believe that, I don't know what winning an election is going to.
You don't know
I
what
don't know.
winning an
Like-
election is going to do? So do you not think that there's going to be, say we win in 2026, okay? Say we take back the House and Senate by a fairly sizable margin, okay? You don't think that the country and how it's governed is going to be and look significantly different than if the Republicans win in 2026?
How it's governed would, yes.
Yeah, but that's what matters at the end of the day. The laws that get put in place, the who has the ability to enact their will on the American public changes based on who is in positions of power. Now, the
Sure.
rhetoric and the propaganda might not change. There are other solutions we need to take for that, right? But what I do see is that I see if we win in 2026, that a lot of Republicans running for office are going to moderate because they will realize, oh shit, because they want to win elections at the end of the day. They want to win.
Yeah.
That's their goal. They want to win elections. They want to keep power. They want to keep their positions of power. Okay? So if they think that their electorate is going to punish them for being extreme, they will be less extreme. And how we demonstrate that is by winning the elections. We demonstrate it by winning elections and overturning, unseating the more extreme candidates on the Republican side and beating them out at the ballot box. That's how we do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's what I hope for.
Okay.
But I don't think these people are just going to go away.
Of course, they're not going to go away, right? And it's always going to be a problem. But how big of a problem matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to wrap my head around your statement that it wouldn't matter how many people go to prison for flag burning in order for I'm not saying if people go to prison for flag burning, then lefties hit the streets with your ARs. That's not what I mean. I just mean if that were to happen, I would never grant any charity. Fuck, I don't even know, man.
It's not granting charity.
I wasn't expecting you to answer that way. I'm gonna be honest.
Here's the thing. It's not granting charity. It's not giving in. It's not cucking out to disavow celebrations of violence on your side. I'm not giving anything to the right. I am not making any concessions to them.
Sure. So okay, here's a better example. If a bunch of people get sent to prison for the flag burning by like, you know, a prosecutor and a judge that are, you know, willing to do what Trump wants them to do or whatever, and then they got kirked, would you feel the same way about
what? And then the
how we
judge
see
who
their-
did it got killed?
Yeah.
Then I would condemn whoever killed them. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it would be immoral to condemn somebody for that.
The judge who was
No.
upholding a law you disagree with?
No, it's not. I don't disagree with this law. It's illegal. It's not allowed. It's a non-negotiable.
Okay, I don't. Yeah,
It goes into the category of just because like it's in the same vein as
Do you think
just because we legalize slavery again.
Sure. If
doesn't
that
mean
happened
yeah.
and you had a judge who was doing illegal things and putting people into prison for in an illegal way, do you think that killing them is the only solution to that problem?
No,
Okay.
I don't even think it would solve the problem.
Yeah, it wouldn't solve the
But
problem, right?
but what I'm
That's
saying
why,
is I'm not gonna.
That's why whoever killed them should be condemned and disavowed and denounced.
Well, but the two options aren't just does this solve the problem or does this not solve the problem? It's is this like morally condemnable or not?
Yes, it's
right?
morally condemnable because there were other
Why?
ways without killing someone to solve the problem.
Well, like what? Again, I'm not
Impeach
saying
the
it solves
judge,
the problem.
win the
but-
election, overturn and pardon the people who were falsely imprisoned. There's so many different options here, right? A lot of judges are elected. Unseat them. Expose this to the public. There are so many different ways to solve this problem without violence that whoever decided that they were too lazy to take that route and put a bullet in them is a monster.
I could push this hypothetical to more extremes, but I'm not just trying to get you to like break TOS, Wick. I'm just like, there's got to be a line.
It's not
Like, okay.
that.
Okay,
The line
well,
is simple.
for me,
I'll give you the line.
Yeah.
Okay? When all other options have been exhausted, then maybe, depending on what they're doing, it might be okay. But we are so far from that it's not even in the distance view. But like, yes, if this was 1940s Germany, okay, we would have a different conversation.
1932, I would say.
But it's not.
Well, I agree,
not.
but I asked this question on one of your panels a while ago. When between like 1929 and 1934, there's some area in between there where Merck and Hitler would be political violence, and then there's somewhere where it's just like, I don't know, like self-defense or defending like society. There is a point in there somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's super gray. I agree.
Okay, we are not. None of the hypotheticals you give me today are anywhere near that. Lawson,
Okay.
I love you. I'm gonna let you go. Okay.
I love you too, bud. Inshallah.
Zaijian. Okay. Damn, gang. Damn. This has been crazy. Input output says just disavow harder. Just one more edgy tweet, bro. Your edgy tweet's been working so good. One more edgy tweet. Certainly they'll finally come to Jesus, right? And figure out you're right. Just one more edgy tweet. He'll solve the problem. Come on, get out of here. That's crazy talk. Crazy. Okay. Charlie. What's up?
Hello. Sorry, I'm on my phone. How's my audio?
It's fine so far. I'll let you know if that changes. What you got for us?
I'm not gonna lie. Seeing the insane crackdowns on people not people being like, yeah, he deserved it, but people just being like, he kind of sucked, but no one deserves to die, or just the fucking memes. Listen, and I'm saying this as someone understanding that I'm a little bit of an asshole and I hate being told what to do. I'm not going to do it, but it has made me want to rub the death of Charlie Kirk into the faces of anyone that's sad about it. Like, it has pissed me off to a ridiculous degree. And I understand I sound just like a white boy who's become racist because someone told him he can't say the N-word, but it's so annoying. It is so irritating. I hate it. I hate this.
I hate it too, but I understand this kind of like human reaction we have. They're hurting us, we got to hurt them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would caution you and say that is not the appropriate response. Don't let them make you a worse person. Don't let them make you a bad person, Charlie, okay? Yes, there is a witch hunt going on right now that they are expanding. An internet cancel hate mob is going around finding anyone who wasn't sufficiently sad at Charlie Kirk's death and trying to get them fired and ostracized from society. This will go as well for them as it did for the left. This, if left to its, if we just be normal, everyone who hated that shit on the left is going to hate that shit on the right, and they're going to respond the same way they did. It's going to work for us in the long term, right? It's going to bring people to us because the right is being unhinged. The right is being this cancel culture mob. It's crazy. Yes, we should absolutely call out and push back against them trying to say that someone putting quotes of what Charlie Kirk said and trying to get them fired for that. That's unhinged. Push back against that. But do not, Charlie, do not let these people make you, because your desire to hurt these people, make you a worse person by rubbing the death of Charlie Kirk in their face. Don't do that.
Oh, no, I know. I'm not going to do that. But it's not out of the goodness of my heart. It's strategic. It's understanding that, like, this does make, in the end, these violations of, frankly, free speech, which there are some Republican politicians calling for, which is disconcerting. Like, it's the feeling in my heart. And so I have these ugly thoughts in my head, which I will not, I will not,
Confluence
let
thinks you're
anyone
just
here.
as guilty, though, by the way. Confluence, I don't know if you saw him earlier. He says that you were just as guilty as someone who would actually do it because you want to do it.
I think that's ridiculous.
It is.
It's human to have feelings, and to be honest, I think it's perfectly normal and natural. I have anger issues, and oftentimes my first reaction to something is to feel really, really mad about it. But part of being an adult and growing up is not acting on your anger and not being an asshole. I know that every time a Democratic politician dies or a trans person kills themselves, there are like Republicans out there who think that's cool or don't really give a fuck or, whatever. But I know that there are Republicans out there that have the good sense to hold their tongue because they know it's not helpful, it's mean, and it just looks bad. It makes people look bad. I think it's perfectly okay to have feelings about it, though. It's perfectly okay to be angry, and it's okay to not sufficiently mourn a podcast bro. Like he was Jesus Christ. I think we can be. I think it's perfectly natural to be like, why the fuck is the government, putting flags at half-mast for a podcast bro? I mean, gun violence is terrible, but what about those 3 kids that got shot by that neo-Nazi teenager on the same day in Colorado?
Yeah,
We
no one
didn't do
gives a
anything
shit
for
about
them.
them. They're not famous, right?
Oh, yeah, who cares? They're just children.
Yeah. Dime a dozen. We can make more. Okay.
That's true. It's true. We can just pop out more.
Sure.
Anyway, I hope that didn't. Oh no! Did I just play into the right wing
You're being
narrative
hold
right
on,
now.
Charlie. You're being honest with me, and we're discussing this, and that's a good thing. This is how we talk through these things. And it, as you said, having a feeling, having an emotion, feeling something, there's nothing wrong with that. It's what we do with our feelings that matters at the end of the day. And you are an adult enough that you recognize that these are not good feelings that you're feeling, and you're suppressing them on purpose because you know it would be wrong to engage in them. And I think we can't ask anything more of people. Thank you for calling in. Is there anything else you have to say before I let you go?
I guess I would say that I do think that this is going to have long-term repercussions. Treating, forcing people to mourn Charlie Kirk and reporting anyone that doesn't mourn sufficiently. I think this is going to have even worse consequences than, leftist crackdowns on free speech. Because this is, I don't know. This is freaky.
Yeah, well, it is. We'll talk later. We'll talk tomorrow, actually. And
all right, I'll see you then.
Bye. Hello, you're live. Hello, you're live. You're muted on your end.
Sorry,
All
I
good.
work.
What you got?
I'm on my phone. So I'm kind of a centrist kind of centrist kind of guy. I don't really give a shit about political parties. I think it's a bunch of power tripping shitheads. But politics is there to betterment of the country, right? To be a betterment of the country. I see a lot of the issues, and maybe I'm just a normie. I don't know. I see a lot of issues surrounding with anger, or being surrounded with anger and right versus left. When I bring up the shootings, who's more violent? At this point, I don't give a fuck. I want to know why. I feel like that question's not being answered, or not even being asked.
I think people are asking it, but only for the reason to portray the other side as bad, right? Like I talked about this before. It's a game that's played. Whenever any incident happens, the only reason a lot of people ask why is not to fix the problem, but to be able to use it as a weapon against their enemy.
Right, and I just want to point it out as someone in the middle who has some right-leaning views and has some left-leaning views. You had Bernie Sanders call out and say we should never do it. You had Ted Cruz call it out and say we should never do it. So we have leaders calling it out. My issue with Destiny's point about not giving in until Trump does, the government isn't the one killing these people. It's people. So if you have an audience, even the smallest of us do, if we can't cool us down, and we have the ability as people online, and I'm not crazy online, but we have the ability to cool this down. Because if I remember correctly, this kid was on Discord. We should be calling for no violence.
Worst of the worst places, by the way. Anyone on Discord is a sucker and a loser.
I'm gonna deny that 100% because there are great communities that can be found. I work in medicine, so I'm not gonna lie that some online aspects are toxic. I almost think we need to shut down the internet for a couple days a week. I saw Abby.
Whoa there! That's how I get my dopamine. Okay,
I know.
That's how I make my money.
Well,
what are we doing?
Trust me, I know. I get it, and I think some of the social media shit should be shut down. Not all of it, to be fair.
Okay.
But like, I saw Avi. You know who Avi is? Dr. Avi?
Yes, I know who he is.
I 100% retweeted and agreed with him that we need to bring back mental health institutes. Because I think some of it is mental health driven.
I said that too.
Yes. I've been quote tweeting senators for 4 or 5 years now about it. When it's always a shooting. Well, yeah, the gun helps kill somebody. But the mental health drives him to kill. And I don't know what the fuck was going on in this kid's life, but we're not asking the right question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you Thank you for calling in. I
And
do
to
know
the what's her name that called in before,
Charlie, yeah.
yeah, she's absolutely fine with not being rejoiced or joyful about Kirk. I don't care for half his politics.
Yeah. I don't
And
think you
I
have
think it
to
needs to be
mourn,
said. No, I agree.
but you
But I
shouldn't
think
celebrate.
no, I agree with that too. But I think more people need to hear it from other people. That just because we have a
Yeah.
different in politics doesn't mean you have a right to speak. You can say what you
Hold on.
want.
Say that again. Did you just say
Just
because?
just because you have a different opinion in politics
Uh-huh.
doesn't mean you don't. Anyone can stop anyone else from speaking.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you said something. I thought you said the
No.
opposite of that, and we were about to have a different
No.
discussion. Okay.
No. I'm a constitutional guy. Like,
Okay.
First Amendment's a big deal.
Cool.
So, and you're justified in feeling away. I just think people get caught up in those feels, and some of them are justified. But we shouldn't take that out on each other in the most disgusting ways.
I will talk to you later. Okay, buddy.
Thanks.
Agree. Yeah. $10 from Alexander Wren to say this guy is an idiot. Cheering on death and killing someone in cold blood are vastly different things. $10 from Alexander Wren to say you can build it up in your mind all you want, but when the moment comes, you will hesitate the first time. Everyone does unless they are in a life or death situation. True. Clockwork to say nailed it. $5 from Alonso Esquivel to say Wick. Look up the guy who attacked a homeless encampment today. Think it could have been motivated by Brian Kilmade and his comments the other day? I don't want to play the game, right? I don't want to play the game. Who's responsible for this, right? I just don't want to play it right now. $5 from Noonian Star to say, Wick, much like you've been advocating for this entire hour, your childish mods have stripped Sean of his free speech. Are you mad that someone in my Discord got moderated? I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, I offload this on my mods for a reason, because I don't want to deal with it. If he got moderated unfairly, I'm sad, and that sucks, and I will spank my mods later, okay? I'm not going to go adjudicate that right now. I'm trying to make a little money and try to do my show, okay? I just can't. I can't do that right now. $5 from Mr. Wise Guy Plays to say, do I need to super chat for you to notice me in Backstage, Senpai? Look, all y'all are calling and yelling and screaming to be the next one up. I will get to you if I can. I am going to leave soon because I want to go see a movie tonight. But Sean Dixon says they doxed you and told you to kill yourself? Send me something. I don't know. Who doxed you? Hold on. I'll unban you and you can come call in. Okay? I'll unban you and you can come and call in and tell me all about it. Give me a second. I got to figure out how. What's your Discord name? Oh, I see it. Revoke and ban. Okay. Ban is revoked. Join the Discord. Jump backstage. I'll pull you in. And you can tell me all about how whatever happened. I don't know. Make your case. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't like doing these adjudications of all this. I don't like it. I don't want to. Okay. Oh, you're muted. Hold on. They server muted you.
Yes, they did.
Okay, what's
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, first of all, your most serious charge. Let's deal with that first. Who doxed you and how?
Let me go. Dictator 13.
Okay.
I believe there was another one. I'll have to check. But that same person did tell me to kill myself. And with the ban, they said the reason for my ban is I should go suck a shotgun.
Okay, so in the
And
ban messaging, they told you to suck a shotgun?
That's right.
Okay. And where did they dox you?
It is in the voice chat, the Northern Alliance. It's in the side chat.
Okay, let me look.
They mentioned my full name, which is not present on Discord.
There's a lot of
Specifically
chat.
only did that because they were upset
Can you
with
give me
my
like
argument.
a timestamp, right?
I really, I don't know. I mean, they kicked me out. Let me look. I mean, just search my name, Sean. They posted my first and last name together. But see now, okay.
Dictator 13,
Anyway,
do
I
you
don't-
want to answer for
honestly-
your crimes?
And honestly, I don't really mind the doxing that much. I'm not afraid to put my name and face out there. That's generally like my thing. But when they do it for malicious reasons, when they're clearly just angry with me, and the fact that you're arguing against violence and things right now, it's really ironic that your moderators are up to that kind of stuff behind the scenes.
Give me a second. I'm seeing if Dictator 13 will come in and explain his actions.
Hope you don't mind my camera.
I don't mind. Hey,
What's that?
Dictator 13, did you dox this guy?
What? When
It
did I
says
dox
you
you?
doxed him.
Did you
Oh,
put my
when did I
first and
dox you?
last name in the Discord side chat?
Is your first and last name your fucking Discord name though? Sean Solo?
That is not my last name. That is not what you typed in the side chat.
Oh, then I didn't put your last name in the side chat. Where? When did I say that?
Okay, so
I
maybe
don't know
you're the
your
one
last
that told me. Maybe you're the one that told me to kill myself, and it's somebody else that put my name in the side chat. Did I get that mixed up a little bit?
Don't know.
Yeah, I did do the second thing.
Okay, so you did tell me to kill myself, but it was someone else that doxed me. Let me see if we can find the dox. But maybe you can answer for why I should kill myself in the meantime.
Oh, because you're an annoying fucking dickhead. You suck. You fucking suck since you got here.
You're
You
really
suck.
you're really doing good work for your argument there. You're really helping Wick out a lot
Yeah.
too.
I think so. I think I've helped a lot. Yeah, this place is a lot better without you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it because perhaps
Hold on,
the
do you guys
argument
like
that I presented?
know each other? Is this like
Not
a...
at all. Not at all. We had a little argument beforehand,
this guy just
and they didn't like what I had to say.
Everybody hated you since you got here. So I got ready.
Everyone hated me. All 3 or 4 people that are circle
The
jerking.
channel's got like
yes.
10 people in it right now. They all fucking hated you. The whole fucking general chat hated you earlier. Everybody here has had a negative
Fine,
reaction
dude.
to you.
If just because people might hate me or they might not, doesn't mean you get to tell me to kill myself and dox me.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't dox
Especially
you.
when Wick is the guy that you're
When did I
moderating
dox you?
for is
When did I
live
dox you?
trying to have an argument about how
When did I
violence
dox
is
you?
bad, and you're literally it was someone else that doxed me, and you
Okay,
sat
so
there and
somebody else.
allowed it while telling me to kill myself.
Where did they dox you? I don't see it. I'm looking on the side chat right now. You haven't linked it yet. Where did they dox you? Where did they fucking dox you? Where
I'm
is
busy
that?
talking to you right now. I'm not looking at that.
Okay,
right now,
so
but
so
I
you
will
don't
go
so you
look
don't
for
have
it.
any evidence of the dox. Okay, gotcha. I'm looking right now. I haven't found it.
Okay, buddy. But you did tell me to
Okay,
kill
so
myself. Is that right?
yes, I did do that. But let's talk
Okay,
about the dox,
so
and then we'll get to how fucking useless you are.
we'll
Oh,
get there,
hold
don't
on.
worry.
Hold on. Are you talking about how they copy and pasted your Discord profile into the chat?
Nope.
Where
not
it does
that.
have your last name.
Not that. No, I don't mind that part.
Okay, so
Yeah, is your hold on, is your last name just public on your fucking Discord account right now? Hold on, if I click your Discord account, do I find your last name connected to a Spotify? You fucking idiot.
When you put it in your side chat, when you are making vile statements
When you
about
show
me,
up in Discord
you
with
are
that as your
guiding
no,
people
you
to
doxed yourself,
attack
you
me.
fucking idiot.
You are
doxed
guiding
yourself.
people to attack me.
You doxed yourself, dude. Are you kidding me?
Again, the first thing I said
You're
when I
inviting
came in
people
here,
to attack you.
Wick, the first thing I said when I came in here is I don't really mind having my name and face out there. Is that right?
yes.
So then
Thank
I don't know
you.
why you would bring up the doxing at all.
It's
Okay,
just,
so hold on.
You're hurting.
Hold on.
You're hurting Wick's point, bro. You're putting my name out there specifically after
You
telling
put your
me to
name out
kill
there,
myself.
and I didn't fucking post it. Are you fucking serious?
Okay,
you
you're the one
moron?
that told me to kill myself. You guys
Yes, I
were
did.
literally harassing me and circle jerking
Yes,
each other.
I
about
believe
how
the words I used
terrible
were suck,
I
start a
am
shotgun. Yes,
because
I believe that's
proved
what
you
I
wrong
said.
and
So
you didn't like
hold on,
ChatGPT.
both of you, shut the fuck
We
up.
weren't even
Both of you, shut the fuck up. Okay, the doxing thing we will look into if it's more
Zanya.
serious.
It's
Hold on.
Zanya. Zanya is the one.
Okay, if it's more serious than them just linking your public like Discord it's not even another site, it's your Discord profile, I'll deal with it. I'll look into it. I'll promise you. But as for the kill yourself thing, Netflix, that's bad. Don't do that. Cool?
Okay.
You have a warning.
Sure.
Warning.
And
okay.
Before I go, and if I'm going to go right now,
yes,
is it proper that I just be removed from your server because people don't like me or they don't like what I said
Fucking
about
everybody
something?
hated you. Yeah, you didn't make the vibe check.
I don't know.
You were
I'll have
interrupting
to
like a
look
cunt.
at
That's
why
not-
they
that
didn't
is
like you.
not-
What did you do for
Yes,
them? I
yes,
don't
it was.
know.
Go-
And look, okay, both of you.
Dude,
I don't care. I don't care. That sounds like a drama that I don't need in my life right now, okay? I don't know why or if this was appropriate or anything. I haven't looked into it at all. I can't check live, okay? I can't check live. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Can I tell you guys, okay? Can I just say that Discord, of all the drama I've been in since starting streaming, the worst ones, the most annoying ones, the ones that have been caused me the most problems have been in my fucking Discord. Okay? This is why I offloaded all of it to other people so they can fucking deal with it. And I don't have to fucking deal with it. Jesus, I just don't. I don't know. Whatever. Hello. You're live.
Oh, is that me?
Yes, what's up?
Hey, buddy, how's it going today? Are you feeling okay?
Jesus, like I was better, okay, until all this bitch ass shit, okay.
Don't worry about it, because it's not gonna be important, and it wasn't important. It's just some random guy crying, and I think a lot of the people who are gonna get cracked down on are random people crying, but it's gonna be, we're gonna target them with a scalpel. I do think, provided Trump gets rid of Pam Bondi, I think it's going to be a scalpel and not an axe that takes care of the radical left problem. And I don't think people like you are going to get taken care of. Hassan might go to jail, might get deported. I don't know. I hope that Destiny doesn't get screwed over either. I think that guy was talking to people who were being inappropriately referred to as Nazis for like 10 years. I think if anybody has the right to get upset about being told to take the temperature down, it's probably going to be him. It's going to be people like him, people like Charlie, who were willing to have conversations, people like yourself.
I don't care if Destiny gets upset that people tell him his fifis get hurt because people tell him to turn the temperature down. I don't care. I care about what's politically effective, what's going to work. And I think that him turning the temperature down, even if the other side doesn't, is politically effective and will work. Him refusing to do so publicly, loudly, is politically ineffective and will be actually counter-effective. I think it not only won't work, it will go worse. But look, at the end of the day...
primary interest in here is pragmatism, just to clarify?
Huh?
Primary interest here is pragmatism, just to clarify?
It's not just pragmatism. That's not my only interest in this. I think there's moral elements to this as well. But for the purposes of right now, that's my main concern, yes.
Right. I think that if that is the case, I think you got to stop going after Trump for saying that he's going to go after these people who are quite clearly calling for more assassinations.
Okay, that's not... So, the reason I think that Trump and Bondi and all these people are over their skis on this is because they are and we've seen this with her talk on hate speech and making hate speech illegal, and basically removing freedom of association from companies that she wants to do, that they are not going to be targeted or selective in whatever it is that they're preparing. This is something that we have
That's
every
Pam
evidence. Just let
Bondi
me finish.
specifically.
That all the evidence points to that they are going to go in and remove as much civil liberties as they possibly can. Do you know why I know that? Because they're already doing it. They're doing it now. Trump is doing it today. They were doing it yesterday. They're doing it a week ago before all this. This just gives them more of ammo to do it. It gives them more political capital to do it. I don't know.
I think with Pam Bondi, you need to be careful because I think right now the right is very clearly, and you noticed immediately after she says this, the right is coming down on her hard. Resign, Pam Bimbo, or bunch of different variations on that name, and she's clearly not prepared to hold this position. She's clearly a diversity hire. We need to get rid of her. We need to axe her. That's the universal message on the right. Get rid of this lady. Just for using the term hate speech, she doubled down later and tried to basically mix in like, well, when I say hate speech, I mean specifically violent threats and incitement, which are these very clear exceptions, the established exceptions of the First Amendment. But just her use of the words hate speech were enough to get universal condemnation from the right. And so I think that's what needs to be doubled down on right now, not necessarily, complaints about them.
So,
but I get it.
I don't think it's universal condemnation. I will say that there's a lot of people on the right who have condemned it, and good on them for doing so. But it's not universal condemnation. I've seen Laura Loomer, I've seen Michael Knowles, I've seen others call for the basically getting anyone who wasn't sufficiently sad about Kirk's death fired. And they've been doing that. They've been engaged in that behavior.
No. We're talking about law. You just switched over to canceling private action.
I think that that has signaled to me that they are okay with the law being
if you're
changed.
mixing these two things together, what that tells me is that you're going to lie about the process and you're going to use that to shift away from people calling for more assassinations and calling for more violence.
Hold on. Anyone who is calling for more violence and calling for more assassinations, to be clear, this is, at least if it does not meet the Brandenburg test, it is still protected speech. There are incidences where you can call for political violence that are still protected under the First Amendment. Now, it's a case-by-case basis. There is a legal test. The legal test will now have to be known. I don't know every individual incident, but what I am seeing is that a lot of people are calling what Destiny said and saying that's incitement. It was not incitement. It does not meet the legal definition of incitement.
It doesn't mean the legal definition of incitement. No, I agree. I don't think that he should go to prison. But you're mixing now, just a moment ago, you very deftly moved away from it, called out Michael Knowles and Laura Loomer in the middle of our conversation about legal incitement and how people are condemning Pam Bondi, moved over to, well, these other guys are saying that people should be fired from their jobs. And those are two different things. We can agree, right?
Okay, but Michael Knowles isn't just saying...
I just need a yes or no answer on that.
Yes, they are different things. They are different things. Yes. Okay. But Michael Knowles isn't just calling for firing. He's calling for the government to get involved and arrest these people. He called that specifically in a short I saw just a little bit before I started streaming, right? Like, I saw this. He said that the government should get involved to arrest these people. So, yes, he's not just calling for firing. He's calling for the government to crack down on this speech.
On legally protected speech. Yeah, throw him in prison. Throw him, Laura Loomer, Pam Bondi, after she resigns, then throw her in prison. But throw her in with Hassan. Give him the same cell.
I don't want any of these people in prison. Okay, look.
I want them in prison. I think Pam Bondi's incompetent and she's ruining something that... Listen, the right is very much not used to any kind of institutional power. And so I get that they're inexperienced and that they're...
What? They've had institutional power in the 90s, right? They had the religious right go do their thing, right? They've had...
That didn't seem to do much for that didn't seem to do much in the way of like college campuses or professorships or anything like that. Those were kind of held and went leftwards and basically presented no defense to the great cancel culture of like the 2010s or whatever have you, or even the early 2000s. So I'm not really saying it could be that they were just as incompetent back then. I wasn't alive for the 90s. I will accept your explanation there. The people that we have today in power are not acting as if they're used to power. They know how it operates. They're just kind of acting like Twitter
hold on.
users.
You're actually correct, but it's not because they're not used to power. It's because the people in Trump's administration. The reason the metric he uses to choose who he appoints to positions of power is not competence. It's loyalty. He wants people who will be solely loyal to him, and he will pass up the best person for the job, the person with the most merit, and he will choose basically dick suckers, okay? Anyone who's going to suck his dick. And if you suck his dick real good, he'll put you in a position of power. That's his only metric.
Yeah, no, I mean, his previous administration, he chose a lot of really experienced people, and sometimes they just didn't go along with the agenda and just hamstrung everything. People like John Bolton, who were obvious warmongers. He couldn't risk having another John Bolton, of course, but if you go in the other direction, then you end up getting people like Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, who are, at the end of the day, diversity hires. They're terrible at their jobs. Absolutely
I'm checking
embarrassing.
just real quick.
We did get Stephen Miller, though. That guy seems to be pretty effective.
Okay.
He's using ICE like secret police right now. He's insane.
I have time for one more caller, and then I have to go because I want to see a movie tonight, okay?
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to let you go, buddy. I love you, and we'll see.
No worries. Stay safe. You're going to be okay.
Okay. I have time for one more caller. Who should I pick? Who's going to be in the call? Let's see. Okay. I'm going to pick Kafka Esquire because he asked to come on before the show. Hello.
Hey.
I'm just letting you know I got about 10 minutes and then I gotta go. Okay?
That's fine.
What do you got?
Hey, so a couple nights ago you had Destiny on. You guys had
I did.
A very exciting conversation. In it, he hit you off the cuff with a question saying like, hey, do you think the North was equally culpable as the South for the Civil War? You said you did not think that the North was equally culpable. Do you think that it could have been avoided? Okay, and you clarified that you're not a historical scholar, but you're saying there's something that could have been done that would have prevented it. And I made a fiery statement of my own on Reddit asking you to retract that because it sounded like you were saying that the North could have done something to avoid the Civil War. And I personally, my view of history is I don't really believe that that's true. And you said no, you weren't going to retract it. I just wanted to come on and see, do you have a more clarified statement for that? Because it was a fast-moving conversation. You didn't get a huge chance to talk about that.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it terribly much since then, but
that's fine.
There are, I think I said in the response to Reddit to you, I will, like, yes, if there are many throughout from the founding of America to the Civil War, there were many chances and opportunities for different routes to be taken that perhaps might have avoided the conflict. My problem with thinking that the Civil War was inevitable is that it takes away agency from all the people involved. I push back against the idea that any event in history has been inevitable, except for maybe natural disasters, right? Like volcano eruptions and things like that.
Sure.
I think that there are many incidences where people, the players involved, could have made some different choice or approached a problem differently that would have led to a different outcome. So again, I'm not a historical scholar. I don't know all the events that preceded the Civil War and the firing of the first shot in that conflict.
Yeah.
But yes, I do stand by my statement.
I'm not gonna, that's fine. And, I'm not gonna necessarily disagree with that concept that you just said. And honestly, I would just, my recommendation to you, this is not a long thing that would take very long. If you just go to, there's a Wikipedia page called the Timeline of Events Leading to the American Civil War. I think it's a really, really good, fast, quick, like timeline, boom, 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 boom. And you'll see the types of violence that was happening before the Civil War, that led to the Civil War, and the kind of violence that was happening. And you can see how one side was very much pushing us towards this war, and the other side was very much trying not to. And while I agree, maybe there were, like, you could have min-maxed a way for the North to kind of get around it. It is incredibly difficult to see a way in which the North could have avoided a civil war without the continuation of slavery. And you can even tell, because the Civil War, we didn't free the slaves till halfway through, and the North even let some states stay in the Union with slaves after the war. And so, like, what I'm trying to say is like, it seems like concessions were made ad nauseum on one side, and the other side, and you can even see in the actions they took internally, amped themselves up, pushed them, like triggered themselves into seceding and starting this war. There was contention, but one side very clearly was making concessions, and one side was taking the concessions and then still pushing themselves towards war. And I think that is a very clear echo here. I know we've been on a long conversation, so we're not going to get into it, but I think there is something to say of there's a side making concessions, trying to tone things down, and the other side, I think, despite those, whether or not they make them themselves, despite the concessions made on one side, are still amping themselves up, and still pushing themselves towards that direction, irrespective of the other side.
Even if I would grant you, and I'm not sure I do, but let's say I do, right? Even if I would grant you that that's all true, what you just told me is that it was the left making, or I'm sorry, the North making concessions after concessions after concessions, and the South was belligerent and wanted this no matter what the left was going to do. Maybe it's possible I'm wrong in my statement, right? But I don't think that's the same state that we live in today, right? And there's a whole host of differences that show that we are in a different environment.
I think that
in a different station.
I am not here to argue that we're on the precipice of anything, but I think, and I urge you to read that Wikipedia page, because to me, reading through it in preparation to coming on today really made me go, okay, I agree we're not on the precipice, but these are railroad tracks that I'm familiar with.
It's easy to kind of build those tracks after the fact, right? And it makes it gives the illusion of inevitability. But I think that
I'm not going to make the inevitability argument with you today. I agree. I actually very strongly agree with you. The inevitability argument is a bad one, and I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
That is not what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying I think there's an echo here that's worth commenting on. But I want to ask you just a last follow-up, and this can be a quick one. In the discussion you had with Destiny, you and I believe also Tally, I think you both were kind of coming at it from like, you want to avoid civil war, which I obviously want to as well. However, I want to ask you, in your mind, is there ever a time where civil war is the right thing to do? Or is civil war the end-state worst thing? Okay.
Yes.
I just want to clarify that.
I said this earlier. This earlier, and I'll repeat myself, right? Once all other options have been exhausted, and I'm talking all other options. Like Lawson Harrison asked me earlier, right? Like, if you had a corrupt judge who was putting people into prison for things that they didn't do, and someone shot that judge, would you condemn the person shooting that judge? I said yes, and the reason why is because there's a whole host of solutions to that problem that do not involve murder or violence or killing.
Sure.
And the same thing is true here. Once you have exhausted all those things, depending on the wrong being done, right?
Mm-hmm.
There comes points where, okay, violence is justified. But I want to make it clear to my audience that we are nowhere near that point.
Right. And then, and then just to follow up, because I appreciate your position on this. And a follow-up point on that, because I think that this is a question that comes with any defense of violence, is do you ever see, and this is specifically in a civil war context, do you ever see a time in which a preemptive I can see their handwriting on the wall. I know where we're going right
Yes.
now. I'm not going to wait to be a victim. I'm going to pick the battle on my
Yes.
terms. Do
Yes.
you accept that that's a
There is
legitimate position?
there are worlds where that would be the right decision, the moral decision.
Okay, that's fine. And I don't want to take you longer. I hope you have a good time. What are you going to see?
The Long Walk. I've heard good things.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I will listen for your review on that one because
Okay.
I saw one commercial. And I was like, okay, I gotta know what this is. all
Yeah,
about.
it's
So,
it looked interesting to me. I'll see you later, buddy. Okay, bye
have
bye.
a good one. I appreciate the talk. I do.
Okay, $10 from Mr. Wise Guys to say I've made notes for the next time you do a call-in show, so I'll say them for them. But I appreciate the chance to talk with you. I wanted to talk about the legend himself, Tim Pool, next time. Thank you. Per Thompson, did you respond to my question about Steel manning Destiny's disavowing position? I'll do that now since you're here. So thank you for the $5 and thank you for the 20 earlier. So to steel man the position, the argument is that no matter what we do, the right is going to continue to push the envelope, to turn up the temperature, to refuse to back down. And so because in my view, or in the steel man view, disavowing and denouncing doesn't work. We need to do something else. So why do something that doesn't work? Why not do something that might work instead? I think he's wrong in this. I think it does work, but that's the main point of contention. I hope that Steelman did, and you got your money's worth. I'm not sure. Okay. Gang, tomorrow, panel is Are Democrats Too Soft on Crime? We made this panel before the Kirk thing. I'm sure the Kirk stuff will seep into that. We're going to have counterpoints. We're going to have Charlie. We're going to have more people. I got to go. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Bye.